Hey everybody, this is Dream, and today I'm going to be reviewing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. So this particular game just came out, and it is available on Game Pass, so that's great. So I had a lot of expectations for this game because I am a big fan of like Turtles in Time, and I was really looking forward to this, especially after seeing the original trailer and stuff that they put out, which made this game look really good. I definitely am a big fan of the series of games, these beat 'em up games of Ninja Turtles, and so I was really hoping that this would meet the expectations that I had. So, without that said, let's get into some of the gameplay. So basically, when you get into a game, you can play on either arcade or story mode. Story mode is going to have this little setup that you can maneuver through with the little turtle van and go to level to level. As you progress through the levels, they get progressively harder, and you come into across some new enemies and things like that. So for instance, in this level, you're going to have to fight against Mousers and things of that nature. Overall, the game itself plays really well. I was pretty pumped with the way the fighting style was. I wasn't certain that they were going to keep it like this based on what I had heard about the company, but overall I'm pleasantly surprised and happy with how that they kind of didn't fix something that wasn't broke in older games. They just went with what they knew would work well, and that really paid off, I think, in this particular game. I do like the aspects of the leveling up characters, which you can utilize. The higher you get points, as you see, I have 884 points with Leonardo right now, and as you get more points, you will level up your character and get better special abilities and things. Leonardo is probably the most average of all the characters. Some of them are a little bit weaker and some are stronger than him, but he's pretty average because his attacks aren't the best, but they're also not the worst. He doesn't do anything great, but he does everything well, and so he's kind of the most average character in the game. Some of the characters are kind of OP right now, so hopefully if they do make some adjustments with those, like Casey Jones being extremely OP, and April O'Neil is actually a little bit OP as well. It is also pretty cool to be able to play with 6 people at once in the game. That definitely adds an element to the game that's pretty awesome. I will say that occasionally, though, like especially with OP characters in the game, you can pretty much be playing and not do a whole lot if you're one of the weaker characters in some aspects, and it can happen where you get lost on the screen at times as well. But overall, the game plays really well. It's exactly kind of what I expected or I was hoping to expect when it comes to the actual gameplay aspect of it. Most of the controls and things work extremely well for what you want. The only thing that I would change slightly is how the like rolling works. You could probably add just a touch more speed because sometimes you can get bogged down by being too far away from something. And but overall, the game itself, it just plays really well. I'm pleasantly surprised that it actually met the expectations I had, which were pretty high. I've read that some people complain about the length of the game. I actually expected the length of the game to be shorter than it is. So I was actually pleasantly surprised that it was as long as it is. The only real drawback from that perspective, though, is that there isn't any, like, the replayability is basically leveling up all of the characters, which is going to take time, because in order to level them up, you need to get 2,000 points, and even playing through the 16 levels in the game, you're probably not going to level a character all the way up in that playthrough. But there really isn't anything like side missions and things. There are some pickups like collectibles, but the game kind of acts like it gonna give you side missions with those, but they're actually not side missions. They're just like, talk to this person and they give you bonus points, which is fine, but it's just, you could have had a little bit more probably there. But overall, the game itself is quite a bit of fun, and if you like beat 'em ups, then you're gonna like this. It's just if you played any of the Turtle games in the past, then you won't be disappointed from that perspective. I do think that they could have added more levels, but I don't think that it's necessarily. And the way that they did the bosses at the end of each level is very interesting, and they did a good job of the balance on the bosses. Some of them are harder than others, and you do have to kind of figure out how to beat them. but that was true in some of the old games as well. And I'm glad that they didn't like mess with that kind, that kind of thing again. Like you didn't break what you don't need to fix. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Excuse me. I can't talk today. But at any rate, the game itself is quite a bit of fun, so I definitely recommend, especially if you have Game Pass, playing it on that. Now the graphics themselves, a couple people, younger people, I think, have complained a little bit about the graphics, but it does have the original series from the late 80s, in the, as part of it, and so that does kind of go into play with why the graphics are the way they are. They are pretty good, in my opinion, and they're exactly what you want if you're a fan of these games. Also, the opening scene is awesome in the game, just the way that they did the graphics for the opening. Definitely think they should do a new series with this particular setup, with the characters and stuff like that. And all the voice actors for the Turtles themselves actually reprised their role from the original 1989 series for this game, which is pretty awesome. They're not all the people from, like, Shredder and Krang and stuff did, but several reasons probably for that. But overall, I thought it was pretty awesome that they actually got the characters back in the game. So I definitely like this. I'm definitely a fan, and I am pleasantly surprised. If I had to, we haven't been scoring games, lately, so, but I kind of want to score this. I would give this an 8.5 out of 10, just overall. I'm more than happy with what exactly that they did. I actually do hope that they add DLC and even more playable characters, because they could really just, blow this out of the water. But yeah, this is just a fun game, and I've had fun playing it all weekend since it came out. And I definitely recommend picking it up and playing it if you're any type of fan of Ninja Turtles, and you're definitely going to enjoy this one. Like I said, the different characters and stuff that you can play with is cool. Granted, I definitely want to mainly play with the regular Turtles. It is fun to play with Casey and April and stuff. And it does really go along with the original show. So that's definitely a plus in this aspect. So, with that said, that's pretty much all I'm going to have for this one. If you do pick it up, let us know in the comments what you think about it. And have a nice day, guys.